Our part 2 of our slow stitching sampler placemat series is going to be adding the fabric scrap pieces now to our placemat and lace foundation piece. So welcome back to Markets of Sunshine. This is Marcia, and thank you for joining me here today on my channel. And I hope that you are enjoying this series, and it's all about helping us to stitch our way through whatever life is throwing at us. And in my particular case right now, it's not a health issue, it was losing my mom. So that is been a definitely a challenge, something obviously, you know, that hits you out of the blue. And even if you are told that somebody is, you know, terminal or whatever, you know, then is still a shock and a hard thing to go through and grasp. So you know, I'm finding that it's a process, and to give myself that time to go through the grieving process. And when I have good days, celebrate that. But when I have a day that is making me feeling depressed, melancholy, whatever, more emotional, just be gentle and kind with myself. And it's normal. It's just something that is normal. So I wanted to just show you first of all what I did. So in my last video, I told you that I was going to take it to the sewing machine, and so that's what I did. And so I stitched around all the edges first, just a straight stitch, and then I came in to the center pieces and then just attached those wherever I felt like it needed to be, to just hold it down without a lot of flapping around. So when I'm going to be adding more fabric and layers, then it's all going to stay in place. So I haven't decided, is this the top or is this the top? And pretty much I do want to make a decision, because when it's put on the table, then I want it to be, you know, obviously a pretty presentation. And so I'm trying to figure out which direction I'm going to go with that. And so this lace here, I mean, it really actually looks good either way. This rose is a directional piece. So if I have it the other way around, this is upside down. So when I realized that, I pretty much, I guess that kind of anchored my decision into the fact that this lace is at the bottom. But I stitched on the crocheted pieces on each corner and here, and just everything, like I said, now is tacked into place, and I really like it. It's turned out really nice. Isn't that pretty? That is our beautiful starting point. Now, what I was going to show you today is a focal point that I'm working on, and I haven't decided if it's going to be one of my heart embellishments, and this is with the heart slow stitch kit in my Etsy shop, Markets of Sunshine, or if I want to have a butterfly. So that was my two surprise elements that I wanted to show you that's going to be the focal point. And I don't even know if I'm going to put it like up here in the center. It's going to be offset somewhere down here. I like the heart here now, up in that center spot. I think that looks really pretty. And so that was a surprise element. So whatever you wanted to add to yours is what you can do. So this is a flower, the teapot. I thought about that as well, but the heart just seems to be really speaking to me for this project, because it's near and dear to my heart. And so this one I already have completed for a kit for a customer order. But yeah, pretty much you can add, you know, anything you want to it, and it could be even a brooch. It doesn't have to be. But let me show you this. This came off of a journal, and just a hair clip. Very simple, very easy to do. And look at how beautiful that is. So you could make something really fancy and big and put something very shiny with it, or something very simple, which I'm going to go with something more simple, but just to give you that element of what you can do. We always need ideas. Okay, so let me gather all the fabric scrap pieces, and I'm going to start coming in and filling in all of the openings. And what I usually like to do is all of the seams get something. So there's a lot of seams with this. So I'm going to start with maybe like 20 different pieces of fabric, and we're going to start cutting them in different shapes and sizes, and probably more narrow and small, because I don't want to cover up all the beautiful lace. So let me gather 20 pieces of fabric, and we'll start cutting them together. All right, so I've added some different stitching with different colored floss, and I'm going to work on this corner here now. So I have some pink thread here, floss, French knot, some running stitches, a chain stitch, lazy daisy stitch, and over here just a I don't know if that could be considered seed stitches. Probably I would call that seed stitching. Just some smaller little stitches here, French knots here, a couple of little lazy daisies here, just some random running stitches there, a stem stitch here. And so now right here I'm going to use a red floss, and I love this rose flower pattern, so I think I'm just going to outline this and then put French knots in the center of the smaller flower, and then that will just add that little bit. So I'm going to just take you along with me while I finish this up and do some stitching. And I don't want to really go front and back. I want to see if I can just pull through the top, and we'll see how that works out. Now what I do when I do this, I will go back behind that stitch, and then I'll come up through here, and then it'll be bye dear, I'm video recording. It's okay. That's my husband going to work, so everybody say goodbye to Raphael. It's okay. Okay. Now, all right, so I like to go back so that I can just keep working from the top. I don't like to have to go, like I said. And see, look at that. Isn't that looking nice? That is really going to stand out beautiful with the white. It's going to be a really pretty contrast here. So while I am waiting on my breakfast to cook, okay, I thought I would come in here and do a little bit of stitching, because yesterday's video I didn't finish this video so that I could post it for Wednesday, because I'm doing a once a week video on Wednesday. But I just wanted to finish up this placemat with you, and I didn't want to take it, you know, further. So I said, well, it's okay. Wednesday, Thursday, it'll be all right. Oh, this is looking so pretty with this. I'm so happy I chose this red. Oh, I really love that. Look at how gorgeous that's turning out. If you like older classic movies, and if you like comedy, I have been going on YouTube and finding the funniest, not like our joke comedians today, but just humorous, extremely humorous movies from the 40s and the 50s. So 2 shows I've come across. One is called Password. I believe it's 1951. And then What's My Line, 1955. Now, this is the year that I'm on. I don't know what year they started, actually. And I do not know which channel. I can't remember which channel they said they were on. And it was a weekly, I don't know if it was a daily show or a weekly show. Anyway, must have been a weekly thing. Do they have a daily game show? Is the Price of Right every day, or is it? Yeah, because like Wheel of Fortune, isn't that every night? Jeopardy. I haven't watched those in so long. I don't even know. I forgot. So anywho, so the What's My Line? They have a panel of 4, but look it up here on YouTube. It is so. I enjoy it. I mean, I just okay. So was born in the 60s, early 60s. So from my generation, what are we considered? Baby boomers, I think they classify us now, and Gen Xers or something like that. Anyway, so I find it entertaining. And one of the panelists, Arlene Francis, I remember her. The others I don't remember because one's a journalist. I forget what the other is a comedian. I don't know. I think the other one's a writer. And then the host, I did not know him. But it's very interesting. And so check that out. It's where they have guests from different jobs, and the panel has to try to guess what kind of line of work they're in. And they're very interesting jobs. I mean, you're talking now from the 1950s, jobs that were then, they do not have now. One man was an alarm clock salesman. I don't think anybody's going around selling alarm clocks anymore, or even in this department store. I don't know if he was in a department store. And then another man. Oh, this one was the most hysterical. They're cute, but they're it's good humor. It's just really quick humor. And the panelists, they really sync together, And so this guy sold, he made eyeglasses for chickens. Now you've got to check out that show. So What's My Line? Eyeglasses for chickens was one of the guests. And 1955, and they made $2 million a year. But I'm not going to tell you why they made them. You have to check out that show. It is so funny. They were laughing so hard. I was laughing hysterical at them saying and guessing stuff, It was so funny. And, there was just several that were just so cute. I mean, I can watch them one after the other. And then the Password, they have celebrity guests that are, there. And it's kind of like our Pictionary game, but without the drawing. And then I happened to see Lucille Ball with her 2 children, and I did not know who she was married to, after Desi Arnaz. And it was some man called Gary Morton. I never heard of him. So anyway, I learned something new from that show just watching that, because I mean, you can just Google who was Lucille Ball married to after Desi Arnaz. And I'm sure, obviously, it's going to give you the whole list and whoever. But that was really interesting, I've learned. And Alan Ladd, I believe, and that was Cheryl Ladd's father, if I'm not mistaken. So I did learn something there. I knew who he was. Anyway, so, and then on the What's My Line, they have celebrity guests, and then all the panelists are blindfolded. And so those guests are really, that's a lot of fun. Jerry Lewis was one of the guests. And then they disguise their voice, obviously, so they can't. That's the funny part. Oh my goodness, is it ever funny? And sometimes they're stumped, but sometimes they guess who it is. And there has been, so, I mean, I'm learning a lot about just history and all kinds of things. They have sports figures. The guy who was the captain or manager, or I forget what coach or somebody of the American Tennis League, when they had the championship playoff, and I think it was in Canada or something, and then they won the World Cup that year, and I can't remember the guy's name, sorry. But the lady who was the journalist, she figured out who he was. But it was very interesting. I mean, I enjoy that. I really enjoy that. It's good, clean, wholesome entertainment. That's what I enjoy. Nothing crude, and just very nice. I just, and you learn a lot. You really are learning a lot. So it's like, hey. And because, that's my generation, I know, a lot of those actors and actresses and things. So I'm just finding it very, very enjoyable. Something different. Okay, this right here is, I got to anchor these two pieces. I am going to go front and back on this. And I just heard the bell for my food just finished, so I am going to just, quick like a bunny now, finish up this one flower. It's so pretty. I am really happy with this red-white look. Oh, just gorgeous. Try not to lose the thread through the needle while I'm doing this, so that I don't have any delays and can finish this up. Okay, I want to go here, but I want to be a little closer right there. What a beautiful contrast with this red. Oh, just gorgeous. I am definitely happy with that. Some of it I wanted it to be muted, but this I want it to be seen, and it's really pretty. Okay, so that flower's kind of like, this petal here kind of overlapped on this one here. I do want to put the French knot right here in the center of this one, so let's do that real quick. Then I can go eat breakfast, yay! Okay, so 1, 2, 3, hold it tight, and then pull the thread back so it doesn't fall off the tip of the needle. Push it through. Keep holding this one over here tight, and then let it go. See? Look at how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. I am so happy with this. All right, so I'm going to bring my needle, and I'm going to bring it back up here to the front, so that I don't lose it. And there we are. Okay, so I will finish this up, but this project is complete. And, of course, like I said, I'm going to add more stitching here. And then we'll work on the second one. So the second one, I'm going to do the opposite. What do I mean by that? Okay, so this one I did lace foundation on top of the placemat. Then I came in with the fabric over that. Next, I'm going to do the opposite, which is what I usually do in slow stitching. Fabric on top of fabric, and then the lace will come in on top of that. So that's going to give them two separate looks, and it's going to be really pretty. And I will definitely use a variety of fabrics, but I am going to use this one since it's on here, so they kind of look like they go together, not completely, you know, different. And then that will really add a nice touch to this, and then I'm going to be putting them on my table. All right, so thank you for joining me here for this slow stitching sampler placemat series, and stay tuned for the second placemat project in the series, and you keep smiling, stay safe, and keep creating in the sunshine. Bye-bye.